All right, ready to roll here on a Saturday morning. Thanks to our friends at Insperity. Visit Insperity.com for a powerful HR solution with exceptional fall through. Nice to have you aboard as we take you through what's going on in the world of golf here in week 30 at the 3M Open. Just 2 weeks until the FedEx Cup playoff starts, and we put a bow on the last major of the year as world number one Scotty Scheffler won his fourth career major championship at the Open last week. Charlie, great to be with you.
Well, it's nice to have you back home,
It's great to be home.
Vermont,
I was up in Vermont. I was in Philadelphia a little bit.
Philly.
Played a lot of golf. Charlie,
Good.
I was just telling you, the spot I was in Vermont down the street is a course called Neshobe, and they held the New England Amateur there. Great golf course. And then went back to Philly to try to qualify for the Mid-Am at Cedarbrook and Bluebell. Shot 79, made too many bogeys. Charlie, we got a lot to work on, but it is good to be home. Humid here.
Well, I have a question for you. Has Scotty Scheffler done enough in his career to be eligible for the Hall of Fame?
Absolutely. 4 majors, over 10 wins already,
Isn't that
Charlie.
incredible?
Would you say that's fair criteria right there?
I would think yes.
Yeah.
I look at him and I mean he's got many years ahead, but the way he talks and his family, if they have a couple more kids, he's going to be really at wit's end to leave the kids at home.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. I did it a little of it, but what a tournament! It was really a well played tournament. He's kind of like a secretariat. He stays in the back of the field, and then here he is on Sunday leading the tournament, and he just ran away with it.
No, you're exactly right. Fitzpatrick, a number of other names were up there near the top through 36, and as soon as the weekend started, Charlie, it was the Scheffler show at Royal Portrush, and I mean he's now 4 for 4 in closing 54-hole leads at major championships. He's unbothered
He's
by the
closed
pressure.
the last 9
Yeah.
victories.
Yeah.
He's so cool, calm, and collected. I mean, I congratulate his mom and dad, and I congratulate his coach, Randy Smith. I mean, Randy has had so many, you know, great players, and Justin Leonard, who was Randy's first really good player to win the British Open, made the cut,
Yeah.
and he's a senior.
Isn't that funny? And Scheffler watched Justin Leonard and Harrison Frazier growing up, Charlie,
Yes.
and said that he wore pants every day to practice because he saw those guys doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You and Randy are both part of the Texas Golf Hall of Fame.
Yes.
You go back. You go a ways back with Randy Smith. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, when he was an assistant for Buddy Cook up in Dallas at a club, we'd go up there and play in a tournament, and he was always there. He had a barber's chair in the pro shop.
How good is that?
So
Get his haircut at the course.
No, just sit in there and talk and have a seat. So it was a good time.
So Scheffler, as you said at the beginning of the show, now in Hall of Fame territory. If he wasn't already, 4 majors, 17 PGA Tour wins. He moves to he moves to a tie for 50th on the all-time wins list. Charlie, let's see if you know any of these names. Scheffler now tied with Bobby Cruikshank,
Yes.
Jim Furyk,
Yes.
Harold McSpadden,
Yes.
and Curtis Strange.
Yes.
Your friend Curtis Strange.
Curtis.
That was just incredible. I mean, the fact that this is his 3rd season with 4 more wins.
Yep.
Obviously, you watched the Tiger era and watched Tiger's greatness for the better part of 15 years. But these last 3 years for Scheffler are just all time. I mean, he is not in 16 starts this season. He has not finished worse than 25th. Charlie, just incredible.
No, it's an incredible record. It's an incredible feat in a sport that demands a lot of accuracy but power, and he's got both of them. And then his putting has risen to being one of the top 20 putters on tour, and he's the best ball striker. So that combination is dangerous.
Nearly unbeatable, Charlie. Let's hear from Scheffler post round 4 at Rollport Rush.
Yeah, I mean, I think we live now in a day and age of where, clickbait is kind of what people look for, and you can shorten a 5-minute clip into, 3 words. I think really underestimates what I was trying to communicate. Maybe I didn't do as effective of a job of what I would have hoped to in communicating that. But, at the end of the day, I have a tremendous amount of gratitude towards moments like these. I've literally worked my entire life to become somewhat good at this game, to be able to play this game for a living. And it's one of the great joys of my life, being able to compete out here and to be able to win the Open Championship here at Portrush is a feeling that's really hard to describe. I'm very fortunate to be able to come out here and live out my dreams. I grew up a kid in Texas that wanted to play professional golf. I grew up wearing pants to the golf course because that's what I wanted to do. I saw professional golfers like Justin Leonard, Harrison Frazier, those types of guys on TV wearing pants. And I was like, I want to be like those guys. So I used to wear pants to grow up to play golf. And it'd be 100 degrees out. I'd be way too hot. People would make fun of me. But that's what I want to do. I want to be a professional golfer. So I wore pants. And I don't know why I'm so lucky that I get to live out my dreams, but it's something that I'm very grateful for. And so if somebody's going to listen to the comments I had this week, I would encourage them to listen to all of it. And hopefully I did a good job of communicating that, yeah, this is amazing to win the Open Championship. But at the end of the day, having success in life, whether it be in golf or work or whatever it is, that's not what fulfills the deepest desires of your heart. Am I grateful for it? Do I enjoy it? Oh my gosh, yeah, this is a cool feeling. I can't wait to get home and celebrate this championship, with the people that have kind of helped me along the way. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fulfill the deepest desires of my heart. And, but it's just tough to describe when you haven't lived it. Something I actually talked to Shane about this week was, just because you win a golf tournament or accomplish something, it doesn't make you happy. It doesn't, maybe for a few moments, maybe for a few days, but at the end of the day, there's more to life than playing golf. But I'm pretty excited to go home and celebrate this one.
He's a unique individual at this age. Great junior record, and then college, and now professionally, and he talks a lot like Jack Nicklaus in a sense, where Jack's philosophy was don't make golf more important than it really is. It's a sport. Go out and enjoy it, and whatever it is, and a lot of the kids growing up, and I was one of them. I thought it was so important, and if I hit a bad shot, uh, sometimes my comportment wasn't as it should be, because I just I wasn't trained that way. So for all the parents that are listening, if you listen more to what Scotty Scheffler says, that's the way you can help your children if you are so desired to help them through golf or through baseball. I watched my son-in-law teach my kids baseball, and it was just a work of art. He all of them. He had such a mature attitude as far as sports. He never yelled at him. He never, he never discouraged them, and that's what it's all about. Keeping that attitude to where it doesn't, beat you into the ground. And boy, Scotty has really demonstrated that he is at the top of the league.
Yeah, he sure is. And we've never seen a great like him, Charlie. And I think his friend Jordan Spieth illustrated on that very well, about how you look at all these other greats in the game, and Tiger and Wayne Gretzky and Michael Jordan, and we've never seen a great quite near as humble and really and kind as Scotty Scheffler. There's not really an ego there at all when it comes to world number one. Let's hear Spieth talk about that a little bit more.
I wouldn't give myself credit. I mean, obviously he was he won a U.S. junior, like he was a great junior, but I don't remember necessarily saying. I think maybe after the Ryder Cup, after watching him when he beat John, and then he came and won in that playoff in Phoenix. It was like, okay, well now he knows he didn't have to do anything different, and he's good enough to win any week. So, I'd as anybody would be pretty surprised if he wasn't the one holding the claret jug at the end of the day, and he's obviously well deserving of it, probably the most deserving player of it. And I thought, the way that his game is, the last few years, the harder the conditions, the better for him over here. So if there's ever a chance for someone to take him down, it's when it's benign like this. But I mean, he's putting so well this week, and so I have a hard time thinking anybody else will get it done.
Shane said that if he had a swing like Adam Scott, more people would be comparing him to Tiger the way he's played over these last 2 or 3 years in terms of his dominance. Do you think that's?
Yeah, I think it's also. I think more so. I think maybe it's less the golf swing. I think it's more of his personality. He doesn't care to be a superstar. He's not transcending the game like Tiger did. He's not bringing it to non-golf audience necessarily. He doesn't want to go do, the stuff that, a lot of us go do corporately, anything like that. He just wants to get away from the game and separate the two, because I know that he, at one time felt it was too much, that he was taking it with him. And, whenever he made that switch, I don't know when it was, but, he has hobbies, he's always with his family. They're always doing stuff. So I think it's more so the difference in personality from any other superstar that you've seen in the modern era, and maybe any sport. I don't think anybody's like him.
I can't wait to see what happens at Bethpage, Charlie, because, and Scheffler's a lock for Team USA Ryder Cup. His position's already sealed. He's obviously retained the #1 spot in the FedEx Cup rankings from Rory McIlroy, but I don't think anyone has illustrated why Scheffler is such a different great than what Spieth just said.
It's very, very humbling.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, it's great for the game. And
to hear, but I ran into his mom and dad one day going across the street at the Houston Open, and they're such nice people, and you can see that they're that kind of family. I mean, it's a together. You don't see too many brothers talk about their sisters.
Yeah.
They're usually arguing with your sisters, but his sisters played an important part of his junior program, and they took him to tournaments and so on and so forth. So it's a family affair, and I salute him, and it's a great example for everybody.
I think it continues to. I don't think he's done. I think he's a U.S. Open away from the Grand Slam. And obviously, I think we see Scheffler get to double-digit major championships when it's all said and done, even in this competitive environment that professional golf is. And really, to have someone like this on top of the game in the middle of all what's going on with the PGA Tour and LIV, and how great the ratings have been for the PGA Tour this year, it's all led by Scheffler.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
the savior of this game for the time being. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we'll go over some current Ryder Cup scenarios. Harris English finished second at the Open Championship. I think that solidifies his
love
position.
him.
Isn't he great?
He's cool.
Never missed a cut at a U.S. Open in
Cool
14.
hand, Luke.
Yeah. Georgia Bulldog.
Oh, now don't get carried away that far.
They
But
put-
although my dad was born in Georgia,
yeah.
Rome, Georgia.
You like a
So-
lot of those guys, Charlie.
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
Kirk, Brian Harmon.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're right now. You're a TCU Horn Frog. That's
Horn
it.
Frog.
All right, we're right back. This is Charlie Epps Golf Hours with Ryan Sparity. We'll come back with some Ryder Cup scenarios and where the favorites are at the 3M Open.
You're listening to the Charlie Epps Golf Hour on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Powered by Insperity.
From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Will Doctor and the Golf Doctor himself, Charlie Epps.
All right, 8-time DP World Tour winner Thorbjorn Olesen leads the way at the 3M Open at the halfway point. He's got a one-shot lead over one-time PGA Tour winner Jake Knapp. Olesen opens 62-66. He will go off at 12:40 Central with Knapp, and really love this leaderboard, Charlie. Our friend Pearson Cootie, friend of the show.
I love that name, Pearson Cootie. He hit a beautiful shot in the other day for Eagle.
Yeah, no. He's playing well. 60.
He missed the putt.
Yeah, well, 65 start, Charlie.
Yeah.
He's been splitting his time between the Corn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour, and we'll hear from him later on. He did a great 3-minute interview after his round, and he'll go off at 12:30 alongside another guy who spent a lot of his life here in Texas, and Sam Stevens. Played his college golf at Oklahoma State, has lived between Fort Worth and Wichita. He's in his third year on the PGA Tour, so a lot of names looking for PGA Tour win number one. Of course, you got a couple established winners trying to climb up that leaderboard today. Chris Kirk is in a tie for fifth at 11 under. Chris Gotterup, who's really come on the scene, won the Scottish.
It's been really interesting to see him start his career, and he kind of disappeared, and now he is all of a sudden he won the Scottish Open in front of a great field.
Yeah.
and he's really the real deal.
Yeah, your friends at Renaissance. Gotterup put together a really fantastic performance there, and then turned around and top five at the Open last week.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, when you look at where we are in the calendar, the Wyndham Championship is the regular season finale next week, and then you have 3 weeks of the FedEx Cup playoffs, and then the Ryder Cup at Bethpage is right around the corner at the end of September. And when you look at a guy like Gotterup, Charlie, he is 22nd on the USA Ryder Cup rankings. And if you just look at 7 through 12 on that ranking, you have some guys like Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa and Maverick McNeely who, maybe not playing as well as they would have hoped this time of the year, right before the Ryder Cup. It must be a tough situation for Keegan Bradley. As far as, being the captain.
Yeah, no, he's got his homework he's got to do, and then he's got a big decision whether he's going to pick himself.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things going on in that locker room.
Yeah.
How would you recommend Keegan?
Well, I think,
should he pick himself or should he just be the captain?
Well, from the intel I've received this week, it sounds like he is going to play after, I believe he top 30'd at the Open last week. Let me double check on that. But
he did.
From what I recall last week, he finished 30th on the dot. Jim Furyk is going to
be the sub-captain.
Going to be the coach on the course because, as you know, in the Ryder Cup, there's only one captain allowed to speak with the players. Right. So when Keegan plays, Furyk's going to be the one giving out the intel and the instruction. But my question to you is, how much does that matter? How much do captains matter at Ryder Cups?
Well, I think the team always needs leadership.
Yeah.
And so I think they're very important in certain areas, especially, and they protect their players and don't overplay them. You got to have the strategy. You got to be thinking 3 or 4, days ahead, what's going to happen on Sunday and get your lineup correctly. So and then he's going to worry about his own game. He was elected captain and he accepted the duty. So now take it.
Yeah. It's,
Put Gotterup. Who would you put in there? Gotterup or?
Well, I personally, Charlie, I think Keegan has played plenty well enough to be on the team.
But he's the named captain.
I understand, Charlie. I understand. But, 8th at the PGA, won the Travelers a couple weeks ago, won the BMW, a playoff event last year, and has remained very steady. Whereas the guy that I'm replacing Gotterup with is one Colin Morikawa.
Come on, he
Um,
can't make up his mind what caddy he wants.
He's on his 5th caddy of the year, Charlie.
Something's wrong
Um,
there. I mean, I don't know what's going on there, but
let me give you 1 through 6 on USA, and I don't think this is going to change. Scotty Scheffler at number 1,
yes.
Xander Schauffele at
So
number
the
2.
top 6 are there.
They're set. They're
Yeah.
set. I don't think they're going to change. There's still room. They don't stop. They don't finalize the 6 until after the BMW.
Yeah.
So a couple more weeks. Russell Henley, Bryson DeChambeau, Harris English at number 6. 7 and 8 and 11 are the 3 question marks. Justin Thomas, who I think is in. I think JT's in. He won this year at the RBC. 8 is Colin Morikawa. And I think you look at
He's playing himself off the team.
You look at his last 4 starts, 42nd at the Travelers,
And he's whining.
8th at the Rocket, miscut at the
Yeah,
Scottish and the
yeah.
British.
Something's going on. I don't know.
I think Gotterup's going to have to replace him. Now, you look on the other side, Charlie, Luke Donald and Eduardo Molinari. They're going to be in their 2nd time coaching the European team. Have you spent a lot of time around those 2 guys?
Well, no, I have not, but I've watched them close up.
Yeah.
And Luke Donald is really, I think, he went to school at Northwestern. He came over from Scotland to play his golf in Chicago, and he was a good collegiate golfer. He's a very organized, disciplined kid. He plays the piano. I mean, he's just he's just got it. He's very intelligent. So I think he's going to do a good job again. And Molinari, his demeanor and his he doesn't get overexcited, and they want to win on our our country, and we got to stop that.
When you look over the history, Europe has only won 4 times, on this side of the pond here when the U.S. is at home, and it really works the same vice versa. Europe wins a lot on their soil as well.
Yeah.
Is that because the U.S. is allowed to set up the golf course here at home, and Europe's allowed to set up the course there? Or?
Yeah, there's some home field advantage that way. Sure it is, but the Europeans always had a chip on the shoulder, and we had won up 20 years in a row, back in the old days, and Seve came aboard, and he shook up the lineup and just shook up the desire. Him and Olasawa wanted to kick everybody's butt, and they did, and they had some great matches.
Bryson DeChambeau spoke to the press this week, and Keegan Bradley confirmed that Bryson's going to be on the team. There will be a live golfer on the United States team this year, and he said he's going to be chirping at Rory McIlroy. He wants Rory McIlroy in the singles. It seems like Bryson trying to maybe take the spot of Patrick Reed as Captain America, and take it to Rory a little bit. I think based on both of their performances, I think DeChambeau really needs to watch out. Rory's playing some good golf. Another top 5 at the Open last week.
Yeah, and DeChambeau is still experimenting with a lot of different things, and I don't think that sets well for playing in a Ryder Cup.
Yeah, you were at Bethpage in 2009.
Yes.
Right when Lucas Glover won.
Yes,
it's only a couple months after Cabrera.
Right.
Won the 2009 Masters
yeah.
that year.
2007
U.S. Open,
US Open. Yeah.
2009 Masters.
Right.
What do you remember about that week?
Well, number one, it's long, and number two, it's a driving contest. The guys really got to get the ball in play because the rough up north, that bluegrass and all that, that's hard to play out of, and the golf course. It goes all different directions, so you got to understand how the wind goes. So Keegan's going to have an advantage because he played there as a collegiate golfer, and he also snuck on when he wanted to play. But so it's going to be a good shootout. I look forward to watching it.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date with what's going on as far as the Ryder Cup standings and scenarios, as the USA team will be finalized in just under a month after the BMW Championship, and Team Europe will be finalized after the British Masters here in the next 4 weeks as well. As far as where the favorites are at TPC Twin Cities for the 3M, Sam Burns was your favorite this week. He's in a tie for 32nd at 7 under par. Sam Burns is 15th on the Ryder Cup standings, and he was a bit of a controversial pick in 2023. I think Burns has earned his spot on the team this year, Charlie. We saw him in contention down the stretch at the U.S. Open.
You know,
Go ahead.
the history of the Ryder Cup, you know, for so many years, it was the top 12 that qualified, and
That was it.
no captain's pick. As soon as we started doing captain's pick is when we started screwing up. I can remember, you know, when Curtis Strange and Lanny Watkins, you know, they picked, and they picked wrong, and you know, they should have done this and that. But you know, I've got a little leg up on understanding the emotions of this event. I represented the PGA of America in the PGA Cup,
Yeah.
where we played the American team against Scotland and in Ireland, and you know, so
how did how did they pick the team for that, Charlie?
you had the top 6 that qualified through the National Club Pro Championship, and that was a tournament out of 360 that qualified.
Wow.
Say so. Then our captain was the officer of the PGA, and the locker room was fun. It was we had organization, and we had a lot of fun doing it. But you know, you stand up on the first tee, and it changes. You're playing for your country, you know, and they play the American, you know, Star Spangled Banner. And so it's a game of emotions.
Wow. It really is, Charlie. And I completely agree that if they would just change this standings picks format back to just the top 12, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't really like the politics that goes into this. You know, I think Goddard could replace Morikawa at 8. I think Burns could replace Maverick McNeely at 11, but still a little bit of golf to play,
That's
Charlie.
it.
You've got the Wyndham next week. You have the FedEx St. Jude in Memphis for the first playoff event. You have the BMW Championship, which is going to be at Caves Valley. And then things will conclude at East Lake for the Tour Championship. So still 2 or 3 weeks for some of these players. Maverick McNeely. Let's see. Andrew Novak at 13. Patrick Cantlay at 14. Sam Burns at 15. Wyndham Clark at 16. Wyndham Clark's, you know, he's in a tie for 8th at 10 under going into the weekend.
Wyndham Clark's not going to be allowed to play. Go
How
back.
about that? You got Oakmont tell him to pack it and don't come back.
It. Why should we put him on the Ryder Cup?
Wow.
He's going to have a year's suspension. But really, I mean, that's embarrassing what he did. I mean,
agree.
but you know, we talk about the Wyndham. You know, it's in
Sedgefield.
And when we went there with Angel, 6 days in a row, you know where we ate?
Outback? No, Carrabba's.
Carrabba's.
How good is that?
Carrabba's. That's it, my man, Johnny Carrabba.
You can't go wrong with that, Charlie.
No, he puts out a good menu.
Yeah, incredible. All right, we got to take a quick break. But yeah, as far as where the favorites are and the Ryder Cup scenarios, I agree with you, Charlie. Wyndham Clark, after his antics at Oakmont and destroying those, antique lockers, he just took out 2 of them. Those things have been there since 1900. So that was really unacceptable. But I'm just saying, it's 16th in the standings. He's in a tie for 8th going into the weekend in Minneapolis. If he can get a win, he is a major champion that's won 3 times. I mean, it's going to be tough for Keegan to tell him no over someone like
Why?
Yeah, because he's an established player who, when he gets hot with the putter, he is one of the best on tour, but has
in the locker room,
his work between the ears, his mental game, it can collapse pretty fast, Charlie.
Really?
He needs to spend a little time around your friend Scheffler.
All
right, we got to take a quick break. On the other side, we'll get to your questions.
The Charlie Epps Golf Hour, powered by Insperity, continues
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here's Will Doctor and Charlie Epps.
All right, Charlie, we have a lot of listeners who are business owners and really on a week-to-week basis right now are feeling like the walls are closing in and that the obstacles to growing their business are really overwhelming. You know, as you know, Charlie, running a business, it comes with pressure, remote workforces, HR compliance, trying to keep top employees happy. And these people need a solution, and you have that.
Well, it's just like a good football player. You got to have somebody come off the bench to get your team going again, to do something, that can help the other 10 players get over the hump. And the HR problems that people are faced with today in running businesses, you need some help. And HR is Insperity's specialty. They know what the government needs and what they want, and they can help the small business owner interpret all those regulations, and so that they can go ahead and continue selling their products, and let have a support team behind them. So for a small business owner that has some eager to grow your business, or some problems you don't know of, go on to the website at insperity.com, and then you might want to have, if you so desire, somebody come in off the bench and give you some more ideas on how to grow your business. And that's what it's all about. And remember, their philosophy is they want small business to succeed so communities can prosper. And I think that's what America's all about.
It really is, and they've proven that over the last 30 years. Over that time, since 1986, they've worked helping businesses improve their human resource, from hiring and training to HR, admin, and compliance, and adding competitive benefit options for their employees. And all of a sudden, businesses have started to expand their HR capabilities with the help of Insperity. So head to insperity.com and get the help you need as far as your business is concerned.
Way to go. That was great.
You like that, Charlie?
Yeah.
Getting there, getting somewhere. Let's get to your questions. This one comes in from Fish. Scotty Scheffler's short game has improved dramatically over the past 18 months. From a teacher's perspective, what do you think has made the biggest difference?
He does the same thing every time. He's learned how to interpret the lie, how the ball's going to react when it hits the face of the club, and then when it hits the green. So that's what amateurs have to spend a little more time doing. Look at the ball. Tell me what kind of shot you're going to hit. Is it going to run? Is it going to spin? Is it going to be high? Going to be low? Use the bounce of your club. But take a short game lesson. Take 3 short game lessons if you're really interested in chipping in. And I think everybody should chip in at least once around. And in that way, your target is kind of like shooting to a target with an arrow. You want to hit that bullseye every time. Well, you want to hit the bullseye every time in chipping, pitching, and putting. So practice, practice, and practice.
2 things there, Charlie. When I play with you and you're chipping, I see you reading the green like a putt.
Yes, definitely, because the ball's going to excuse me.
Take your time.
It's going to react, to the grass the way it's growing. So that's a big thing. Know where the grain is. You also got to know where the grain is, where the ball lies that you're going to chip. So sometimes, it's better, the Texas wedge that Byron Ellison always talk about, that using that putter off the green. You can't putt into the green. You got to putt down green off the green. So a lot of short little tips the pros can give you that should get you down to a one number handicap.
Yeah. And let's say that the amateur at home has, an hour or two evenings a week to practice. How much work should be done? Memorial Park has a great little chipping and putting area. How much work should be done over there?
Well, at least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
At least 30 minutes. And sometimes you can start off chipping, then go hit balls for 40 minutes, and then come back, finish up chipping and putting. You can't do enough of that. But it doesn't. You don't have to do it for hours, but 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. Become an intelligent, you know, golfer and understand how the ball's going to bounce if it's into the grain, against the grain. So stuff like that are things that people have to know that really want to get good.
Great work there, Charlie. You've watched your grandson, Charlie Wiley, prepare and train like a modern pro. I think this is a really good question from Rick. With the emergence of players like Jake Knapp and Akshay Bhatia, these are a couple players you're seeing at the top of the leaderboard at the 3M. What stands out to you about the way the modern pro prepares and trains?
Much more organized. And they practice with a purpose, and they practice and they practice away from the tournaments. You don't wait and practice when the tournament starts. You got to come there with your game already in place. So when if I've always told my students, 365 club, what you do today is going to take 365 days to internalize it and to really make it to where it's a lasting and valuable way you approach chipping, way your grip, your stance, ball position.
But with you have club championships this week, you've got it's really alumni tournament season, Charlie. You don't want your students grinding and try to change things, on the range session the morning of the first round. You want these things to be ingrained.
You got to come prepared.
Yeah.
You just like when we used to go to, our being tested in college or in high school, you can't cram. You got to do the work a month before. And so don't wait for the last minute. Give yourself some time. And 365 today, get ready for next year's club championship.
We'll get to a couple more of your questions in the fourth segment. Really, the story as far as Texas golf for our listenership that I'm really looking forward to this weekend per se. You look at the top 5 of this leaderboard at the 3M, and our friend Pearson Cootie, who we've had on the show, he is in a tie for third at 12 under. He opened 65-65. He's going to start the weekend 2 shots back of Thorbjorn Olesen. It's a great opportunity for Cootie, who has been splitting his time between the Korn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour this year. And he spoke to the media press after the second round in Blaine.
Back-to-back rounds of 65. How you feeling heading into the weekend?
Yeah, good. I feel like my game has kind of gotten better throughout the year. I've had a lot of solid finishes, been playing a lot in the Korn Ferry and whatnot, but good golf is good golf. I don't think I was doing much different out there than I did these first 2 days. So, I feel like I have, a lot to prove out here, and I think that I have the game to do it. So excited for the weekend.
Where specifically do you feel like your game's grown a lot, you said, throughout the year?
Yeah, I struggled mostly with my iron play last year. My iron play and chipping, and that's kind of been the focus. And it's just continually gotten a little cleaner. The misses are a little sharper, and just leaving myself in better spots around the greens, and just a few more from that 10 to 20 foot range that you can run in and kind of stack together a bunch of birdies on a course like this.
When you get into tour events, how do you decide between here and KFC, or will you always play a tour event if you get in?
No, I've turned down at least 2, maybe 3 starts on tour this year. I wanted to give myself kind of 2 pathways to get my full status back for 2026. So I started off in the Korn Ferry when I wasn't getting in the West Coast events, and then had some decent finishes. Knew I was going to get in some of the kind of, spring events on tour. Got in there and had a couple decent finishes, but nothing really to kind of put myself in an advantageous spot to chase, the top 100 out here and stuff like that, and Mondays. So I stuck to playing the Korn Ferry and, rattled off a lot of top 5s, and feel very comfortable with my spot out there of getting my status back now. So going forward, I feel like I've kind of earned the freedom to get to choose which events I want to play, and that would be playing PGA Tour events.
How do you feel like you've grown as a player from last year when it was your rookie year on tour?
Yeah, I mean, last year would have been my second year as a pro. So, 30 years of pro, I feel like I'm doing the right things. I'm trying to kind of almost, it's cliche, but do less, especially off the golf course, and just enjoy my time practicing, be very focused on my practice. That way I'm just not out here, wasting away hours and stuff like that. So I feel like that's kind of been the difference, and just a little bit more intentional with how I want to go about my business.
Since you know that you're in a solid standing with your KFC status, when you're on tour, is it sort of a win or bust mentality, or are you working on things, or how do you approach that?
I don't necessarily think it's a win or bust. Like, obviously, the guys that have secured their status for 2026, maybe the guys that are top 10 in the world or something like that, like they could go with that. But I'm really just trying to stack together as many good rounds as I can. I feel like I'm still early in my tour career, and I'm just trying to get the most out of my rounds, become the best player I can, and kind of just see where that takes me over the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, thank you.
Mike Booker, chairman of the Texas Golf Hall of Fame and holder of a record number of Texas Golf Association championships.
The Texas Golf Hall of Fame is the foundation of golf in our great state. So many great individuals: Ben Hogan, Byron Nelson, Kathy Whitworth, Ben Crenshaw, Babe Zaharias, Tom Kite, and many more lead the way in making golf in Texas known around the world. Learn about the historic golf courses and the individuals that promoted the game through leadership, teaching, and passion. Texas and golf go hand in hand in the history of the game and camaraderie. Together we can honor the past, celebrate the present, and inspire future generations of Texas golfers. Golf is a sport for everyone, and I encourage you to experience the history of Texas golf digitally at texasgolfhof.org and share with your golf family and friends. That's texasgolfhof.org. See you on the course.
This is the Charlie Epps Golf Hour on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Powered by Insperity.
Now from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's Will Doctor and the golf doctor himself, Charlie Epps.
All right, we'll get to the 3M Open leaderboard here in just a second. Give you a couple post-round 2 interview sound from Thorbjorn Olesen and Jake Knapp and Sam Stevens. Really fired up for the weekend here at the 3M with just 2 weeks to go in the regular season. Charlie, you also have the Senior Open going on, and Padraig Harrington, he's about to start his 3rd round with a 1-shot lead over Scott Henn, Darren Fitchard, Clark Dennis, and Justin Leonard, and Thomas Bjorn and KJ Choi are tied at 7 under there as well. I've played a lot of golf with Clark Dennis there at Mira Vista in Fort Worth. He's plays a lot on the Senior European Tour and plays some on the Champions Tour. And your guy Angel Cabrera is at he is at 2 under par. Well, now 1 under for the tournament, 1 over through 9. But Angel, 2-time senior major winner this year. How did he like his chances going into this week?
Well, he's kind of a little too far behind. For some reason, he's making a few more bogeys than he normally makes. So I'm not sure if he can catch a hot round today and shoot 65, he could get into position to maybe try to overtake him on Sunday, But I'm proud of him going all that way to play golf. It's a good one, but I'd like to see Justin Leonard, win the senior British Open. I think he would have the regular one, as he won it 19. What year was that? 70? No, I can't remember.
Justin Leonard, was it the year that Sergio collapsed? Wait, let me see here.
No, this was it Sergio, or it was at Troon? He won at Troon. I remember that.
Yeah, he won in 1997. And Roll Troon shot.
Yeah,
beat.
He made every putt coming in.
Beat Darren Clark and Jesper Parnevik by 3 shots.
Yeah.
Final round 65.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
He knows how to close the door in the big moment.
Yeah. He got in before the others because he was he wasn't tied for the lead or anything like that. He came from behind and just showed his Randy Smith, once again a great student of Randy Smith's up in Dallas. So it's going to be a fun weekend. I look forward to Justin Leonard because he made the cut in the regular British Open too.
Yeah, he finished 59th. I mean, that was a huge story last week, Charlie.
Yeah, it
was Justin Leonard and the success that he had at Port Rush. And I always love watching him at the Insperity Invitational every year. And just a pro's pro, Charlie.
Yeah. He was a broadcaster. He was pretty conservative.
Yeah.
But he could play the game.
Speaking of broadcasters, Kevin Kisner is one of the assistant captains at the Ryder Cup. And he's also set to be on the broadcast for NBC that week. So the American captains, Charlie, Keegan, he's trying to play and captain. Kisner's trying to broadcast and captain.
Come on.
A lot going on.
Let's captain. If you're going to be a captain and you're going to be a assistant captain, you can't be distracted. We want to win this year.
Yeah, we do not want to get embarrassed there at Bethpage. As far as what's going on at the 3M Open, 8-time European Tour winner Thorbjorn Olesen holds a 1-shot lead going into the weekend at the 3M. It's his tournament debut, and he spoke to the press after round 2.
Yeah, no, I think both days my iron play has been really, really good. I've hit a lot of shots really close to the pin and gave myself like a lot of good chances. Today there was like 2 or 3 bad drives that costed me, but I still felt pretty good over the ball, and I think I hit some good tee shots out there also.
He's playing well. It's his first 36-hole lead and 95 starts on the PGA Tour, and hitting his irons amazing, and really needs to make a move on the FedEx Cup standings as he's 129th. With 2 top 10 in 16 starts this season. So when you talk about the FedEx Cup standings and getting in the top 70 next week, he's got to make a major move. Charlie, I want to get your take. Only 100 cards retain their job at the end of the year now. and down from 125, which I'm not thrilled about. I don't like how these signature events have gone to 70 players. I don't like how they're starting to close shop. What are your thoughts there?
I agree with you. I think we expanded the fields for so long, and we had opportunities for all our golfers to make the right the regular tour, and now you take those away, and they're going to go to the regular. I mean, the other tour. Is that what's going to happen?
Well, if you fall outside of the top 100, you go to the Corn Ferry Tour playoffs,
Okay.
where you can earn status on that tour. And then you can go to Q School,
Yeah.
where the top 5 get their PGA Tour cards, and you can get some Corn Ferry Tour status there. But let me give you this situation, Charlie. If you finished 105 and then go and play bad at Corn Ferry playoffs and don't play well at Q School, you could not have status anywhere.
That's horrible. I mean, you got to keep making room for guys to play, to promote the game collegiately. The game has grown because there was a way for the collegiate players to go right from the getting their diploma and then going out on the tour. So come on.
I don't see any other sport taking away teams or taking away jobs.
No.
I only hear about franchises being added to cities, and so with the PGA Tour ratings up and every tournament having a sponsor, and the amount of support from volunteers each and every week, I don't see why.
Plus, the live money is out there. You can grow your sport just tremendously. Have a National League and an American League, and then they can just have a World Series like baseball or the Super Bowl. I mean, have 2 leagues. Come on, guys.
Yeah, we'll see what Scott Roloff does. I haven't heard much from him here in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
He's got a lot to learn before he opens up his mouth.
Now, do you think Tiger has not been asked to come be an assistant for this year's USA Ryder Cup team because he's so busy with all that nonsense?
I think he's been asked and he's turned him down.
Wow.
I mean, I think he's still not prepared to give up his game, but it's going to happen pretty soon. I hope. He's only a cell phone away.
Yeah. Well, with Bradley wrapped up and trying to play, Kisner with the broadcasting, I'd expect Jim Furyk's going to give he's going to be the on-course coach. Do you like that decision?
Sure. Jim's a very knowledgeable guy. He got the most out of his game, and he's going to be able to relate to most of those guys he's played with over the last 15 years.
It still surprises me a lot, and I'm just shocked that in 2025 you're not going to have Tiger or Phil, involved in the Ryder Cup, and
that's just evolution. Mickey Mantle, he couldn't play Babe Ruth, all the stars. There's new stars coming.
Of course, but even to be at the tournament in a captain sort of position, I mean,
yeah. Well,
neither one of them can really handle it. But let's get you through the top of this leaderboard to 3M. 31-year-old Jake Knapp. He hasn't missed a shot through 36 to 3M, and he's 1 shot back of Olsen heading into the weekend. He won his first PGA Tour event last year at the Mexico Open, and has played well this year, rolling into this tournament with a couple top 25 finishes at the Deere and the Scottish. Here was Knapp after round 2.
I feel good. Feel like I'm kind of doing everything pretty good for the most part. I haven't made too many putts, but yeah, I feel like it's been, kind of mistake free for the most part, and haven't really had to scramble too much. So yeah, felt pretty easy over the last 2 days.
Third-year PGA Tour member Sam Stevens is ranked 44th on the FedEx Cup standings with a couple top 5 finishes this year at the Farmers and the Nelson. He'll start the weekend 2 back of Olsen after rounds of 62, 68, and Stevens spoke to the press Friday afternoon.
Yeah, this has been a great year. I played well at Farmers, which kind of really set my whole year up, which was nice. And I've done that really all 3 years. I've gotten off to pretty good starts. And yeah, just to play with some freedom. Those elevated events I didn't really take advantage of them when I got into them this year, but it is a huge advantage if you can play well in those. And so even though I maybe didn't capitalize on those opportunities, I played with a lot more freedom this year, and that's what a good start will do for you. And yeah, now I'm in a good position, kind of heading into the playoffs in a couple of weeks, and hopefully I can capitalize on the opportunity I have this weekend and move up those rankings.
I made some picks on Tuesday as I do each and every weekend, and that is not looking good. I made 6 picks, and no one is in contention. I think Austin Eckroat was the only player of any of those to make the cut. Charlie,
you didn't consult me.
I know I should have given you a call.
God, no.
I should, and Johnny Vegas won here a couple of years ago, and you're dialed in with what's going on in Minnesota. Charlie, my heart wants either Pearson Coody or Sam Stevens to win this tournament. The data loves one-time PGA Tour winner Jake Knapp, but I will not be making a pick going into this weekend.
I like Knapp's swing. I think his demeanor and he plays golf. He doesn't get too excited, but it would be nice to get the Texas Longhorn, the twin, if you will.
Yeah. From one generation to another. I mean, from Charles to Pearson and Parker, from Charlie Epps to Charlie Wiley. I mean, it doesn't get better than the world of golf in Texas.
Yeah, we want to get him on tour.
Yeah, and we'll get him on the show next week after, we'll see what happens this weekend. A great show, Charlie. We're out of time here. Thank you, AJ, behind the ones and twos. We'll see you next weekend
AJ,
here.
We didn't hear enough from you.
On the Charlie Epps Golf Hour, presented by Insperity HR, that makes a difference.
Bye-bye.